Howdy there guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Rock is here with some gameplay in the Tier 8 British heavy tank Caernarvon today. This is a vehicle that I truly despised on PC, but I'm less of a noob now than what I was when I played it there, and I'm doing quite well at it here, so I've got plenty of good gameplay vids to show off, and it should be interesting. We are rapidly approaching the end of the year. Holiday season is upon us, and for me it cannot come fast enough. I'm absolutely beat. This past couple of months, the video schedule I think I set myself was a bit ambitious, and coupled with the huge amount of new content we've had just recently, ever since I did that canal video, I've just been swamped, and the channel has become like a second job. I'm working 9 hours during the day, and then I'm working 6 hours in the evening on the channel, plus weekends, and it's sucked quite a bit of the fun out of it. On top of that, I'm not getting along well with the game as well. My relationship with Blitz has declined steadily this past half of the year. It started with the subsea cable damage and Australia's bad ping, and now I think the problem is that I'm just out of practice. Our ping has returned, it's good again, we're getting about 100 milliseconds average, but the quality of my gameplay is still, it feels terrible, and it's been a very frustrating experience this past couple of weeks. I'm in, out of games, deleting the game constantly, coming back for like a day. Our Wargaming Asia correspondent gave us, myself, Bushka and Huge, a T59 each as a bit of a reward for our work. And I jumped on a couple of days ago, played maybe a dozen, 15 games in that thing, and then quit by the end of the night and deleted the app again. I cannot deal with it at the moment. I don't know what's going on with my game. It just feels terrible. We'll see what Holiday does. Hopefully at the start of next year I'll be more enthused. So to get us over the Christmas break, I've got a couple of these regular episodes to get through and some quick blitzes. I'm going to set them up and then leave for the East Coast where most of my family is. I'm out on the 17th, back on the 28th, spending New Year's here in Perth. So hopefully I get a few things uploaded by then. I've got a few quick blitzes already finished and ready to go. There's a few interesting games in there, and some tanks that haven't yet been featured. No 7k damage Kolobanovs though. For anyone who is expecting that kind of stuff, you can just tune out for the quick blitzes. I'm having none of those games recently. But yeah, it should be enough to get us through until the start of January, and then I'm not too sure where I stand after that. We'll have to see. I might have to cut back on the videos because it's just too much work at the moment. This is 100% my content, the replays, the editing, everything, until we get a replay system and you guys can start doing part of the work. At least the getting the good games part of the work. I'm going to have to cut back. I think it's just become a bit too much. So I'd fully expected to lose this Tier 9 game on dead rail, myself and Furione in the T28 prototype. The Reds were capping hard, and I made no attempt at a reset. That would have left me pinned between the E75 and the T32 flanked, and the Reds on cap. I was just happy to run a delaying action on the Reds, whilst my own team flanked through the Reds spawn. And luckily, we had a team that for once didn't just sit there whilst the cap climbed up. It was a close thing. The Reds got to 96%, but our flankers came full circle, and now we are well and truly ahead in this game. 4 tanks down to their 1. As we move in to try and soak up a bit more damage before the team falls apart. Just a few German heavies left as I'm plugging away with the 20-pounder B barrel. We will get into the stats on this thing a little bit later on. Tiger left, come on. Furione gets the kill. GG. You'll notice I used a shortcut there. I've been trialling some pre-recorded shortcuts for commands and congratulations, that kind of stuff. It kind of works, kind of not. Confederate and second class badge for this game. 2k damage. Confederate and 2 to 3k damage is stock standard Caernarvon game. It really is. The Conqueror comes as a bit of a rude shock to a lot of people at tier 8 after the Black Prince with its amazing armor. doesn't get a bigger gun and it loses that armor, and a lot of people really struggle with this machine. I certainly struggled with it on PC. I played this thing like a complete noob. Probably did most of my fighting out in the open on flat terrain, and I got the shits with it, and I rushed the Conqueror without getting the Type B barrel gun, the top gun on this thing. Don't do that. Whatever you do, that leaves you in a terrible position at tier 9, where you have to first research the Type B barrel to get the Conqueror Mark II turret, and then get the L1A1 gun. Until you get those two things, the Conqueror is just a tier 9 Caernarvon, and I set myself up by not getting the Type B barrel for a 160,000, I think it was about that, 160,000 XP grind at tier 9 in a Caernarvon, or what was essentially a Caernarvon. Don't do that. Spare yourself the pain, learn to play the Caernarvon, and get that top gun. Oasis Palms for the second game, a very tier 10 game. Myself and Yossi in the AT-15 are the only tier 8s on our team, and the Reds have got an extra tier 9. Although our Jagdpans E100 has just melted the enemy E50. As I push up, perhaps more aggressively than a Caernarvon should in a tier 10 game, but I'm here behind this rock, hold down, kind of anyway, trading blows with this T-54. I've already used a repair kit. But I do have allies around me, and look out behind me, Object 140. I'm not hanging around here on flat ground taking on two Russian mediums. So I dive to the other side of this hill and need to stay hold down at all times here. Rely on my allies to keep me out of trouble. I can't crest, but the T-54 comes to me, looking to get in behind our Object 268. And that is a fatal error on his behalf, as he's now trapped between three of us. IS-8 gets that kill. And this Object is who we need to be mindful of. He's a decent player. And yeah, that's not quite the hold down position I was looking for. He's putting shots through my turret, which is the only armor you want to be showing anyone on a Caernarvon. Jagdpans E100 on my right there, need to be careful. An unlucky shot dipping into the terrain there, but this is really the only armor you want to present to your enemies. It's not great armor, but you need to use the hold down fighting style of the Caernarvon to do well. It has a negative 10 degrees gun depression, I believe, and God help me, that's a Jagdpans E100 looking at me. Just low plate shot there. Excellent AP penetration on this machine. And Mark in the Object 140 had me there. I don't know why he didn't stop to put a second shot through me. And very lucky to survive that, but I'm not going to get the kill. The IS-8 does get that one. As I pivot to engage the only red left, the E75. Looking for the killing blow, but Yossi gets him. And that is a very fast tier 10 game done. Second class and a Spartan coming out on top of XP. We got carried by our Jagdpans E100. Daidu there. Daidu 1. Well played. Only 16 shots fired, 13 pens. Game done. Tier 9 game on Black Goldville for the third match. Myself and Pimp Daddy in the T-34 Independence. And it's time to look at some statistics. Let's have a quick look now, an overview at the performance figures. See what kind of colours we've got on this board. Lots of red, especially around the armour. Not a strong point on the Caernarvon. Vehicle and manoeuvrability statistics are mixed, and there's quite a bit of green in the gun, that 20-pounder Type B barrel. 1600 hit points is above average, as is 250 meters view range. Fire chance of 20% is not good, but it's the armor where this thing really struggles. The front hull is on the average or just under, but in reality 130mm is not going to save you from many guns. It is terrible armor on the hull, and you cannot side scrape in this thing. You would need the most extreme angle and some help from your tracks to absorb any tier 8 or above shots. Hold down is really where you want to be at all times in the Caernarvon, but even that tactic, we can see the turret armor is under the average for the tier all around. But you know, you've just got to work with what you've got, and the turret armor is the most reliable surface to bounce shots from, so This is what you need to be doing, and this T-54 is pushing in aggressively. Pimp, help me! I'll call for help. He's already on the case though. Plugs one shot into his rear, and I'm backing away into the depression, which has saved me from one shot. This guy, I don't know what he's doing now, but he's a bit confused. He's not having any luck as well. Pimp just tracked him. Shots are going to the ground. There's another tracking shot pulling him to the side. Pim gets one more hit. He bounces off my turret, and I crest just enough to get low plate there. But we are in trouble on the hill. We've got two tier 9s. Then looking my way, I've just bounced another shot off the turret. It does have some complex curves, or at least angling, which means it's definitely the surface you want to be using. I am trying to get myself into a hold down position here, but I keep backing up that rise behind me. I'm taking shots from a T-44 to my right and up on the next level above, but I need to help Pimp. We need to focus down these tier 9s. He's been rushed by the VKB, and I have to ignore the T-44 to take down that threat, keep my ally alive before I move behind the C containers to try and get out of this guy's line of fire. There's a miss. The VK goes down, and now I can move in behind Pimp and get away from this T-44. Phew, it's busy. Pimp is in a good spot in the T-34. Hold down, presenting that amazing turret front armor. And move here to intercept this flanking IS-8. Looking for that Commander's Cupola and get it. Accurate gun on the Caernarvon. And of course I bounce the cheek armor of the pike nose. Always the way. Second shot does go through though. And that is the biggest threat to this flank taken care of. Pimp did a very good job there. Gets the Tiger 1 as well. And there's just a T-44 left, or at least I thought anyway. It's actually 2. We move now to the maneuverability stats. 60-ton weight is under average, as is the engine power, only just, but the powder weight is very good, 9% greater than average. It's more of a slow medium tank really. Speed limit is a bit under average, so you're not going to shift around the map too fast, but getting up to the top speed is quite easy. And the whole traverse, look at me here, I'm looking for a YouTube thumbnail shot here. Completely forgot there was another T-44 in the game. Almost get Pimp killed here as he gets jumped. The turret traverse though is a standout feature. It's got the Centurion turret, this is. Anyway, it's very good, rapid moving turret, which means you can pivot on spot. The combined traverse, the combined hull and turret traverse is well above the average, which means it's a very good tank at reacting. We saw in that last tier 10 game, there were targets everywhere. I was shifting around, shifting between targets, looking in opposite directions. It's quite easily able to do that. But if you're in like the T-34 there, surrounded by targets, you have a very difficult time picking between the two. You just have to focus one down. And that is that game done. Pimp just surviving that one, luckily at the end. And he does come out with a mastery for that performance. 4,000 damage thereabouts. Yep, 2 for myself. 19 shots away, 15 pens. Not a great deal of credits earned in this machine this 3 games. Not too sure why that would be. Fort to spare for the 4th. Pimp Daddy back again in the T-34. And it's a tier 8 battle this time. As we wrap up these statistics with the gun stats, the 20 pounder has a huge rate of fire for a heavy tank, but of course a low alpha damage per shot, 190 alpha damage and almost 10 rounds per minute rate of fire, leading to a bang on average DPM. Excellent AP penetration, the best for the standard tier 8 heavies. The Lerva and the T-34 do have better. Gold rounds is on the average 258 mil, but the HE penetration and splash damage, being a low caliber weapon, is worse than the others. As I move into a little sniping position here, waiting for targets to come along. KV-4 there, approaching the Alley of Death. The best feature on this gun is in the accuracy. 0.32 meters dispersion and 1.9 seconds aim time. Crazy for a heavy tank gun. Very, very accurate and fast firing and quick to target weak spots. The elevation is limited, but the depression, -10 degrees, is on par with the best. The T-34 is the same. And I'm being flanked here by a Centurion and a Jagdpanther, but if I use these crates, I am technically hull down here. That, I think, was a deflection off my side through the gap that Jagdpanther was looking to shoot me, but from that angle, even the piss poor armor on this thing can bounce shots. Track that Jagdpanther. The rest of my team has responded, and he gets wrecked. Pull back now to try and help Pimp, who's getting rushed here by some tier 8s. Try and catch them in the open. Try and track this Centurion. Yep, there we go. But it looks like there's too many guns on Pimp and that Comet. Why is there a Comet behind Pimp? The Valley of Death. That doesn't make sense. Couldn't quite track the KV-4. He slips back out of the way. Reposition now to target the SU. Use that gun depression, use that accuracy to hit him through the gap there, and the excellent turret reverse to quickly respond now to the KV-4. Oh, T-34 as well. Looking for more tracking shots. Bounce one from the KV-4 who's using the 107mm gun. Pimp Daddy goes down. Trying to track guys here, trying to hold him in position, but they're moving around too much. IS-3 gets the KV-4. Comet. I don't know what he's achieved there. Pimp's not happy with him. Yeah, he should have been flanking. But that would have left Pimp by himself, so he probably would have died anyway. Charging in. Down goes the Panther. I take one from the T-34, but he is not going to get another shot away. And I can get 3 shots in to his 1. Comet gets the final kill. There we go. It was worth being there after all. And this game bagged me the Anko Special. It's a very good looking little tank. And I'm going to put it into probably an upcoming Canal gameplay video. There we go, 40,000 credits. Finally. Confederate Sniper and 2nd class. I'm going to finish this episode off on Port, another tier 10 battle. Matchmaker once again, shafting myself and Furion in the prototype. And this one turns out pretty interesting though. This is a mastery game. We're moving off into the town, not where I'd prefer to go in the Caernarvon. I want to stick to the hills really, to the right. But in a tier 10 battle, you want to go with your team. What is that IS-7 doing? It looks suspiciously like he was going to sit up there and snipe. What is he doing? Come on, E100. E100 almost drives into the water. Oh, I love our tier 10s in this game. Comedy of errors. Poor old Furion trundling along behind. His top speed of, what is it, 20 k's per hour? Patton rushing up ahead, has seen no one, so probably safe to push in behind him. Perhaps all the reds have gone wide. Patton calls capture the base, which at this point I was thinking is a ridiculous idea as I drive into a rock. Everything's going well in this game. Looks like our IS-7 is going to do that, or is it E100? The E100 is pushing back. Target's appearing on the high ground to the far side of the town. Furion's moving into cap, and it turns out this is the right thing to do. By applying some pressure on the cap, this is going to get us out of trouble later on, and it's going to save me actually. So good thing Furion is there. Death Star behind me. Everyone's moving in. 2 teams facing off against each other on opposite sides of what they should have. And our E100 has gone in ham. I don't know what he's doing. I-7 pulling back, looking for a shot on him. Right, one through the engine deck. 45% completed cap. Very lucky shot there, clips the back of the I-7. Obviously he had damaged his engine before that refuel tanks, and I set him on fire and the Death Star finished the job. Somehow I eat a shot into the tracks as well from his 130mm gun. The Patton is in trouble, but our heavies are taking the fight to the enemy, which means the cap is now at 60%. The Reds are going to start getting desperate here. And the fact that they're going to need to split their forces is what's going to get me out of this situation. Target the Independents. Hold down, try to shoot the Independents again, but the T-62 gets in the way, but that's okay. I'll take a shot on him. I accept that I'm going to eat a shot here to take out the ST-1. Get that lower weak spot. Yep. And God, Object 268 and a Tier 10 medium behind me. Bail. Try and take down this T-34. Remove the threat from one flank, the weakest flank. Now I can pull back. The medium has gone to reset the cap. This is what I was talking about, being saved by the capture. And now I can pull back and just it's a one-on-one against this Object 268. No shot through the lower plate. Try and track him as he comes around the corner. No. He misses, doesn't have the gun depression to get me over that rise. Still looking for a tracking shot. Still not getting it. Low alpha damage on this gun. Not able to reliably detrack a vehicle. He does come all the way over through my front. Now I move to APCR. It's probably the right time to do it. First time this episode. Through the front. That was a bounce, I think. He's pulling back, trying to get the gun depression he needs. Tracking shot there, finally. Come on. I need to pull forward. Oh. 30 hit points remaining. Looking for that shot. His gun's in the road. I can't mess this up. That was a bounce. Only gonna get one more shot. Yes, pulling back. And he flattens off one of those cheek plates, giving me the pen. Well, that was close. There we go, mastery to finish, and that is the episode done, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.